Hello.
I'm trying hard to freeze with my eyes open so it doesn't put a weird face of me half blinking or
It always puts me like wrinkling my
mid-word.
nose or touching my face. Something like that.
I don't know how it picks
I don't understand the
the
diagrams.
thing. I don't know.
Kathy, good to see you,
Hey, Miss
Noche.
Kathy.
Tommy McFarland,
Tommy.
been up at the church today. Tommy
Miss Linda.
doing his thing. Miss Linda.
This
These
coffee
people
is
keep jumping in. This
burning
one's hot.
my hand.
Gotta be careful not to burn myself. It's quite warm,
I didn't realize how bad our old coffee
Hannah.
had gotten.
right?
It wasn't warm at all.
This is warm enough.
I'm drinking lukewarm coffee all this time.
Not anymore.
Hi, Miss Sandra.
Spit you out of my mouth. Hannah, been praying for your mom today. Hannah said, Mom is doing well, back home, recovering. Thank goodness,
Good.
Hannah. We're thankful for you. Thankful
From
for your
the
mom,
beach.
Susan.
Miss Kathy, I'm
Kathy, you're at the
jealous.
beach?
That's
awesome. Can we ask which beach? Is that too personal? If not, I get it. You can make up a beach.
Is everything open, or are you able to have a chair? I've heard that some beaches don't let you have a chair. I don't know.
Talk to us about that.
Tell
Kathy.
us all about it, Miss Kathy. We want to know every detail.
I'm not going to lie.
I want to go to the beach.
The weather in Buckhead, Georgia right now is perfect. If you're not
Thank you,
outside,
Hannah. I love my cup too.
you should go outside. Hannah, you don't like mine?
I think
from
I got this
Arizona.
one at Walmart, actually.
Probably made in China, figures.
Probably is. I have this one in a travel mug as well. Amber Iden got me the travel mug one.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly how it worked.
Maybe.
I got it as a travel mug. Do you remember it was tall and had a lid? And I took it to work and broke it within 4
Oh,
seconds
wow.
of being in the door, and coffee went everywhere, and it was very sad.
It's not
Well,
the first,
Amber
won't be the last.
heard that story and bought me a replacement.
Amber, she's adorable.
And then I think I got this at Walmart. Check it out. I know it's very done, but I think I got it at Walmart.
That was a full story on a coffee cup. That's impressive.
You don't know Ray Dunn?
Ray done.
See those words? I can't. It's
says
very hot. I'm
blessed.
burning my fingerprints off.
This is blessed.
Yes, it does.
What does that do
All
with
this-
radon?
this-
Isn't that like on the periodic
It's his
table?
name. It's like the brand. He makes. If you see words like this,
Is radon on the periodic table?
or you mean rayon?
Rayon. There it is. Laura Hurley, you know, science teacher.
It's amazing.
Anyway, I'm sorry, we're just getting a
where
slow
would
start
Ray-
today.
Where
What
would
we-
radon be?
Radon, I couldn't tell you
What
that
would
to save my
radon
life.
be?
My chemistry teacher, her name was Miss Smallwood. Her husband was Mr. Smallwood, who was the band
band. I
teacher.
know that name.
Changed my life. So did Miss Smallwood. She's also my track coach. Miss Smallwood lived past me from town, which was easily 12 or 13 miles.
Far out. No one can.
And
do
one
that.
day she ran to Walmart and back.
Wow, she's one of those.
Yeah, legitimate.
I'm not saying that in a negative way.
Like she's-
I
it was
think those
legitimate.
people are
Somebody know
amazing.
Miss-
I'm not that way.
What was
but
Miss Smallwood's first name? Carrie? Christy?
let's just guess on live Facebook.
Stephanie?
Figure it out.
Tom Smallwood was the husband's name. Tom, he was a good guy. Had a
It'll
great
come
time.
to you. It'll come to you in a minute.
Coach Smallwood. We used to call her Coach. Us that were
So
winning
did
races.
she like run to Walmart to shop for something?
No,
or she
no,
had to
just-
run all the way back home.
No. Yeah,
Walmart
she ran to
was
get
just
some
the
butter.
landmark.
She just ran to town and back, which isn't bad if you live in the
doubt.
city limits.
I highly doubt she ran 18 miles to get butter.
That butter was melted when she got back. Soupy. Margarine, probably.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it.
She
This
wanted
is,
some butter. Anyway, hope you had a great...
I'm trying to drink this slower down so it won't spill on me, and it's so hot. I can't.
Katie, Dad. That's right. Katie Smallwood. It's Katie
Oh,
Smallwood.
good
She was
memory.
lovely. She was great. It's true.
I've never heard that story about her. That's a great story.
Learn something new every day.
Good story.
Hope you all had a wonderful Wednesday. We're get some things figured out for our barn service this Sunday. It's going to be a blast, y'all. Come on out. We're trying to figure out how many people are going to come. We have no idea. At Lake Point, we
I'll be
rarely
there.
know that
I'm
answer.
coming.
We're like, how many? Some. Are you serious?
I think she's down at her barn right now.
Oh, down. I thought you were coming to our barn for Sunday service. It's crazy.
He
You
was
don't toy with my
do you see how
emotions like
excited
that.
he was?
I
They
get it now.
probably have a church to run.
I get it. She put a kissy face. I know, Daryl.
She's
Living that
just
married life,
saying,
baby.
like, hello, we're coming from the barn.
Hello from the barn.
I love you. That's
Hello to both of y'all from the barn. But
Hard to translate.
hey from the means and everybody else that's on there. But yeah, we'll be doing that this Sunday and next Sunday, same place. Got a phone call today from old Mickey Edwards. Well, she was asking about a FM transmitter, and from some kid that she's a very smart kid. She's the class president.
FM transmitter.
FM. FM transmitter.
You lost me. I'm there. I've caught all of it.
Anyway, y'all, they asked me to
Dr.
speak
Edwards
at the
called you.
baccalaureate today.
Woohoo!
How fun is that? I'm not nervous at all.
It's going to be awesome.
Wow.
It's going to be
Speaking
driving.
to a lot of nervous.
Because they heard you that you did a drive-in thing. They're like, hey.
Yeah, they heard I kept it short. They're like, wow, that was a good short one. Get that guy. Not stature. I get it. Also there. Justin, I'll call you. I got you, bro. But we'll get it figured out, y'all. So looking forward to this
exciting.
weekend. It's gonna be a good
Sunday
time.
night.
Gonna be a good time.
Baccalaureate.
Baccalaureate Sunday night drive-in service for the high school.
Got to honor those graduates because they've had it.
Wow,
rough.
graduates.
You guys have really
Wow.
been put through the ringer
That's crazy town.
this time.
That's a rough one. 2020. Just think, when we were kids,
It's a
like,
memorable
what did you
thing.
think of? Hear this. When you heard the word 2020, what did you think of? First word, go. Barbara Walters, hand down.
Well, I
Like,
was
in
thinking
my
of
mind,
vision, but you don't
Barbara
want, like,
Walters was 2020. Not anymore. She's been replaced by
But do you
Corona.
really mean, like, what would 2020 be like? Because it was not this.
It wasn't this. You seen those memes, Back to the Future? They're like, go anywhere but 2020.
Don't come here. But really, I thought we would have way different things than we have.
It's okay. We're going to figure it out.
We don't have that many things.
We
We
don't
have
have-
cell phones
We do have cell phones.
We didn't have
very
those.
expensive cell phones.
before.
But anyway, I hope everybody had a great Wednesday. If you need anything, let us know. Justin, I'll give you a call after this live stream's over. And
will.
we'll keep checking in with everybody. We're in the book of Nehemiah tonight. Chapters 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
Going to grab a Bible you can open up. Do you have anything else you want to add before we
I don't think
open this
so.
stuff up?
I think I'm going to put my coffee down. It's burning my fingers.
Don't burn yourself, Sean. It's not worth it.
I think I'm going to. It's
Look
going
at
to
this
happen.
awesome pencil I found.
It's probably mine. Probably fell out of my Bible.
George Grome.
Oh, don't tell the kids you have that. They're going to fight over it.
GeorgiaGrow.com.
There was a whole argument about that pencil this
But I
morning.
mean, I might keep it. Don't tell them. I don't care. Tell the kids.
Homeschool
Tell
is
the kids.
great, everybody.
I'm scared of
So
kids.
much fun. One more day. We have one more day of instruction.
Night. That's right.
One more night. You gonna
As you
sing
turn to there,
Broadway?
Y'all, we gave a ginormous history lesson on Nehemiah last night. So if you missed it, go check it out.
So ginormous.
Tonight we're just jumping
So
right
many
into
details.
jumping right in Nehemiah chapter 2. I've underlined a few things that I think are very good in chapter 2. Chapter 3, not many things underlined because a whole lot of names. You probably
It's
have
a
a
lot of
lot. That's
names.
cool. He built next to
Hello.
he, built next to he, built next to the perfume person, built next to he. The whole thing. I was like, that's a lot of information. We're going to be camping out chapter 2 for a little bit. And Herb and Carol, I'm glad you're here tonight.
Hey guys.
All right. So in Nehemiah chapter 2, Nehemiah goes before the king. He's the cupbearer, which sounds like a pretty good gig, unless you think he might be poisoned. And then it ends horribly for the cupbearer, but the king bears well. So he's working before the king, says the king's got some wine before him, and the queen is sitting next to him, which is an interesting little tidbit, you know, to know that, like, I mean, I'm sure they were like a cute couple and all, but it rarely says that in scripture, especially when it comes to other kings, that like the king and queen were sitting on their thrones,
That's true.
just looking
They're
at
not
everybody.
usually mentioned.
Almost to me, it makes you wonder. Like, I think the Lord's hand's being seen here. It's already at work. Like, the king's probably a decent guy. Hopefully, as we're about to find out. But I don't think it ever hurts to have two there as well. And the queen's also, I don't know if her being like the queen or a mom, she might have been a horrible woman. I have no idea. But I would like to think that was kind of a good
might have
package deal, where they're like, oh,
It is
Here he is.
interesting that they mention her. So maybe
Interesting they
she's
mention.
important.
He goes
Usually
up.
women don't have any mentions. So.
usually they get mentioned.
Good job, girl. You got in there.
So he goes up. What's your first underline thing?
Well, I don't actually have underlines tonight, but verse 4, I thought it was cool that it's called the
Let
arrow
me go to that
prayer.
one before we do that one.
Okay.
He says, when he goes over to the king, which there's nothing wrong with this, he says, let the king live forever. I like that. It's not that he's sucking up all the way. He's just kind of
A
sucking
little
up.
bit.
You know, like
But it
Nehemiah is
the
a smart
king,
guy.
So you have to be aware.
It's the king. Like, he knew that, like, now if you upset the king, they were like, hashtag don't do that, you know, or Secret Service will show up and fuss at you for a little bit. But in this day, like, if you take the king off, the king could go, you know what? Just take
kill
his
him.
head. Just get him out of here. So Nehemiah he's setting the stage for the request is about to happen. That's a life lesson in every area of life. In your marriage, with your kids, with your boss, with your work, with the government. They don't listen as well. If you can kind of set the stage, though, for real, like, warm people up. There's nothing wrong with some words of kindness, especially if you're about to ask something from someone. Like, I never want people, because I'm a pastor and I'm at church a lot. I used to be at church a lot. Like, I never want people to look at me and hear me coming or see my name pop up on their screen and their first thought be,
think,
oh,
no.
great, he's going to ask me
Yeah.
to do something again. You know, like, it's important to build people up. Now, with this one, he immediately falls in love with, I need you to do something serious. So there's also nothing wrong with that. Like, if you know you need something from somebody, build them up a little bit.
It's a good life skill that we try
It's a life skill.
We try to teach that. I used to try to teach that to our teenagers, and also I remember when I would do parent conferences that were about to be kind of like not so great, like maybe your child is not passing math.
Awkward.
They would always, my teacher advisors would always say, lead with something good.
Lead with something good.
Start with,
Open
how
with a
nice
joke.
they
Open
are.
with some kindness. That's right. Like, just
Before
kind of
you
ease
just drop
into
a
stuff.
bombshell on them,
Like,
your
oh,
child's
wow.
gonna fail.
This
at
is
least,
going to be harsh.
Yeah.
Open up,
But no,
open up
it's
softly.
just general good, just good manners.
Just rule of thumb. Something we
But
try to
also,
do.
before he even does that, the king notices that Nehemiah seems sad.
That's true.
As
That's a
he's
big
walking
deal.
up, the king's like, "What's wrong? Why are you sad?" Which leads me to believe that they have a pretty close relationship.
When he said,
or
"Why are
at
you
least
sad? You ain't
acquaintance.
sick." He's like, "You're not even sick." He knew it was a matter of the heart. That's a really good
He
point.
noticed that something seemed different about him.
Which, hear this, what is Nehemiah? We hear this like, oh yeah, Nehemiah's a servant. He's probably getting paid like minimum. No, he's pretty much just like, he can't go anywhere. You know, like his people have been conquered for a generation. He's living as a servant. Like, but to me it shows that Nehemiah's heart is solid too, because Nehemiah is apparently doing his job very, very
It
well.
must be well enough for the king to take notice.
To take notice of him. That's good. All right, so we're going to see in verse
Okay,
4.
so then the king says, "What's wrong? You're not sick. You don't look right." And he says, "King, live forever." And then he says, "If it please the king,
First,
Hold on,
though,
I'm
look
gonna
at
read
verse.
off my
Read
page.
what are you
I
doing?
can't
Man?
I
You
can't
said verse
find
4. It's verse 4.
It is.
Before
it
he
is.
does that, though, it says, "So I prayed, and then he said." I wanted to point that out. You do that, then he said. There is also nothing wrong with praying before you speak. Pray before you speak. I'm going to say it one more time. Pray before you speak. I think the world would be a better place if more people would pray before they speak. And, spoiler alert, be open to the Holy Spirit of God saying, hey, don't say it. Like, there's something to that. Like, Nehemiah, I think Nehemiah was a man of faith, so I believe personally he was praying all the time. And we see that throughout these chapters here. But y'all, like, sometimes I've got myself into trouble because I start saying something before I pray about it.
What do you mean?
Before
Don't
I
say
check.
it.
I think sometimes you might say a prayer like, Lord, do I need to say this? And the Lord might immediately come back and say, don't say it. Don't you say it. Listen to the Lord there and don't say those. But especially if you're about to do a request like he's about to do and Shani's about to hit on, definitely pray that stuff up. Definitely have prayed up until that point before you get it out.
I just thought it was cool that he prayed in the moment. So the king says, "Why do you look sad?" And then he said, "Why wouldn't I be sad? The city, the place of my father, lies in waste and is burned." So he does sort of introduce the problem. And then in that moment it says,
And I prayed.
"Then I prayed to the God of heaven." Like
Yeah.
he's nervous in that moment, and in that moment he's praying. But that prayer has a name, and it's called the arrow prayer, because it was direct and to the point. So it's the very type
My kind
of
of prayers.
prayer.
You ever been in a prayer where they're not direct to the point?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I had somebody pray in my house last night, put my dog to sleep. Not even gonna lie. Like in the middle of the prayer, my dog started snoring.
Well, that was Rob.
Rob, I love you. You're one of my best friends.
Rob
That
prayed,
prayer went a little long.
and Cooper
And it was one of those,
audibly
I'm
started snoring
past
from
the
the middle
point in
of
my
the
life.
room. Middle of the room.
As a kid,
Everyone
you're like,
could hear it.
every head bowed and every eye closed. We all know we
It was
were
a
peeking.
sweet
We all
prayer.
know that. I'm peeking. Show me a verse. You got to close your eyes. I'm peeking sometimes anyway.
It was a sweet prayer.
But this prayer was
Cooper
good. It was from the heart. But when you hear the, everybody's like, oh snap,
was
Jonathan fell asleep.
embarrassingly loud.
I assumed it was Jonathan,
Somebody
naturally.
was snoring.
So I
It was the
looked.
dog.
It was a dog. Anyway.
We're
continue.
also in the point of life where Nathaniel prays, and it's like, "Thank you for the salt, and thank you for the pepper."
Yeah, on Mother's
you for
Day,
the pillow on the
Mother's Day
sofa.
prayer, you
Thank
thank
you
the
for
Lord
the
for the
blanket.
washing machine,
The
but
washing
not
machine, but
his
not
mom.
for mommy.
Luke was in the background going, "Mommy, thankful for mommy."
Hey, mommy. And he's like, "And the dog's
Dog's
bowl,
bowl.
and
Oh,
the
so
hand
genuine.
towel
It's
on
true.
the
Prayed up.
refrigerator." Not mommy. Mommy never made the list. This was not that prayer. This was an arrow prayer.
This is arrow
and I
prayer.
think it's cool that it's pointed out. And Nehemiah records a lot of prayers in this book, 10
He
of
does.
them. This is the first one, and it's the shortest. But it's still a very
Succinct, direct to the
important
point.
thing.
That's
Move
good.
along. That's all I wanted to say.
I was snapping, saying it was fast. I was snapping at you.
No, I know. I'm just saying. We've covered that verse.
You
thoroughly.
covered that one. Well, I
Very-
mean, you're knocking
Covered
this one
and
out. I don't-
recovered it.
I'm jumping down to verse 8.
Go for it.
All right. So he goes
I'm
on this
ready.
other stuff. He talks about timber and letters to Asaph and all these people he's going through. It's like he's getting a plan together. But this is good to me, y'all. It shows Nehemiah's heart. And if you are struggling in the area of your life, check your heart. I think that's something good to do. Look at verse 8, and it says, "And the king granted me what I asked." Nehemiah could have started now he's writing the book here, so I mean he has the authority to do this. He could have done what I think many of us, sometimes many people do, and say, "Man, I got what I wanted because I worked hard enough for it." We do work hard for it, and there's nothing wrong with working hard. If you work hard, you should get. I get it, but look at his heart. He says, "And the king granted me what I asked, for the good hand of my God was upon me." He's immediately giving thanks to God in this. He's immediately saying, "The Lord is with me. God is doing this for me." He's giving God the credit for it. And I think that opens up a lot of opportunities for God to continue to do that.
I think Nehemiah's position is one to be proud of, and he could have said, because of my closeness to the king, because of my relationship with the king and queen,
Yeah, because I drank
they
all those
granted me
cups.
this thing. But no, he doesn't.
He says it was the Lord's hand upon me.
Yeah, I like it. I really do think that this is probably his personal prayer journal or something close to it, because of the way that he's sort of like talking about what he was thinking. You're almost hearing the story from inside Nehemiah's head. I like that.
That's good.
Hi, Miss Joyce.
Thanks for being here. Means a lot.
And so then he came to Jerusalem for 3 days. He had a few men with him. Basically, he gets to, there's all these gates, the Valley Gate, the Fountain Gate. There's a lot of gates. And I'm looking through really quickly. I should have underlined.
I got one here.
Basically,
verse 11.
it's just in ruin.
It's in ruin.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting that I did read, I did a little cheating, read a little commentary on it. One thing that's interesting here is it says he arises by himself and goes out to inspect it. One of the things I read said that's what a good leader does, is you take inventory of the situation before you make a decision on the situation. So it says that like Nehemiah went out by himself to take inventory of the status of the buildings and the ruins before he started giving out instructions to people. And the one I read was specifically like, for dads or those that are leading their households, saying that sometimes it's probably one of those killer ones from China figures.
No, I think it's just a plain old yellow jacket.
Gracious me. You ever been bit by a plain yellow jacket?
Yes.
That
But
hurts
it's not
like
a
a
killer
mug.
hornet.
I don't know where these people are. These are worse. I don't know how it gets any worse than that. Anyway,
Move on.
knowing that he went out at night by himself to inspect the ruins and came back. To me, that's really good, because that's what we're called to do as you lead whatever the Lord has you currently in, whatever situation or status, knowing that sometimes you got to do an inventory. And he says there at the end of verse 12, "And I told no one what my God had put into my heart to do for Jerusalem." This is something that the Lord has placed in his heart to do, and nothing's going to stop him from doing it. So he goes out and he does all that inspection, and it's hard. You figure, I don't know, like you figure you've heard stories about this place your whole life, and you finally get back there, and it's just in shambles, So he very easily could have gone, "This is overwhelming, this is a mess." I also want to point out, like, he also had the backing of the king here. Like the king said, "You go get the timber, like we'll make this thing happen. You get out there and do this." So I mean, that also helps to have the backing of a king in your back. And another thing I read said that there was actually a war breaking out in Syria, of all places. That's a peaceful place for the last couple thousand years. But like, war was breaking out in that area, so it actually benefited the king and queen to have Nehemiah in this region, just as kind of ears on the ground as well. So like this whole thing is just coming together really, really well. There's again.
So yeah, he really wants to sting me.
I get bit by a yellow jacket.
Do they bite you?
On the Facebook. Shawnee, same. Does it matter? You know what you're not going to ask when you get bit or stung by one of those? Was that a bite or a sting? That's not coming to your mind. I'm going to stab him with this Georgia Grown pencil.
Do not mess up that pencil. I'm not kidding you. It's a big deal. I don't know why. I think because it's orange.
Let's see what it's made.
So basically, you read on. He goes and examines, and then he decides. He says to the leaders, he hadn't told them yet. He's come, let us build this wall that we may no longer be a reproach. And I told them, the hand of my God, which has been good to me, and also the king's word had spoken up. Let's rise up and build. He's like, let's go. And these 3 men, Sanballat the Hornite, Tobiah the Ammonite official, and Geshem the Arab heard of this. They laughed at us and despised us, said, "What is this thing that you're doing? Will you rebel against the king?"
That'll preach.
So he has some pretty strong opposition.
Imagine
making
that.
fun of him for doing this.
People making fun of you for doing something you feel the Lord's called you to do.
I don't even have to imagine that.
It's just real life. That's just real life. Like
the
Lord's called him to do this. And what is it, church? Is it the 3rd person that talks to him? Is it the 5th person that talks to him? As far as we know, it's the first 2 people that talk to him saying, "That's a terrible idea. You shouldn't do that." I'll be John Brown. When
There
God puts
will
stuff in
be
your heart to do,
opposition.
there will be
There will be.
opposition. Hear this, everybody, graduates, whoever you might be, there will be opposition. So you got to decide now, okay, what do I do with the opposition?
And the opposition even says, what are you trying to be rebellious against the king? They're trying to make it seem like he's doing the wrong thing. Even though he has full permission from the king, he's prayed about it ahead of time, he feels like it's all happening for a reason. There's still these people who are like, the king's going to be upset with you. He has permission from the king. And so he knows he's doing the right thing. He knows that he's got all the permission that he needs. And so he's just like, I'm just going to continue.
That's right. And it says in verse 20, look at his response. He keeps throwing it back to the Lord. The God of heaven will make us prosper. He says, God's on our side. God's going to do this. We servants of his will arise. Above that says, let us rise up and build. I like that. But you have no portion. You have no right to claim in Jerusalem. He says, look, I'm standing on solid ground right here. I'm doing what the Lord's called me to do. God's in it. And then he moves on from it. I personally think he moves on from it.
That's another Rob Rayner cliche. If you take care of God's business, he'll take care of yours.
Say it again. Say it again for the camera.
Once. He said it 1,000 times.
Say it 1,001 times. Say it good.
If you take care of God's business, he'll take care of yours.
That's right.
So if you know you are serving the kingdom of God, that's all you have to worry about.
Hear this. If you're not serving God,
you have a lot to worry about. But you don't have to worry about people being in opposition to you.
People.
They are not going to stop you from doing the thing that God has
I think we live in a world that's so focused on what other people think and say, and enough's enough.
You can't
Just
let it be
stop.
discouraging.
Don't let it be discouraging. The God will have a message prosper. And then he goes to verse 3, chapter 3, and it lists off 4,000 people that helped rebuild the wall. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually have a couple thoughts on this chapter, even as generic as it is. And it really
good.
is.
It's
the
good
entire chapter is like, and then so-and-so built the horse gate, and they made repairs in their own house. And then Zadok, the son of Immer, made repairs in front of his own house. But I do have a couple of things about this. One, you and I have worked very hard to build a campus of a church.
It's been good.
And I really think that it is so cool that Nehemiah took the time to sit down and write down everything that each family did, because I wish I had done that.
I wish I'd done that. Yeah.
But I really do think it's kind of like
that's
saying,
adorable. That's good.
Yeah, he was meticulous in saying like exactly what each family contributed, and how they contributed and what difference it made in that moment. And we always said we should write a book, and I kind of wish we had written it down. Because it would have made a great book.
Made a great
Man,
book.
And
there would have been a lot of names. And we would have read that list and gone,
many names.
Oh, I remember that. I remember when he did that. That's good. I'm done.
But, I mean, so we should start doing that. We should start making a list of all the things just
Write
for our own
down
reference.
the names. That's a good point.
Because these people made it into the Bible.
And
like the
you
Old
figure,
Testament of the
that
Bible.
perfume maker would have just been a perfume maker.
Right.
If it hadn't been for this. You're absolutely right.
But then also, and I have no credit for this, and Mama might remember this, my mom I grew up watching my mom watch TV sermons during my childhood, like at all times. She had it on TVN or Daystar, usually TVN, and one preacher, and I don't know who he was, so Mama might remember, he preached a sermon about Nehemiah, and I kind of like overheard it, and he pointed out the fact that each person took care of the gate that was in front of their exact house, and because they all took care of exactly what God had put in front of them, eventually the whole gate was completed. And nobody had to do very much.
That'll do it right there.
Even Nehemiah didn't have to do that much. He just said, if you'll take care of this right in front of your house. And it literally says, right in front of their house. So their little piece, they just took care of their piece and they stayed kind of in their lane.
Yeah,
and then it just connected to the person beside them and they stayed in their lane and the gate was done. I don't have credit for either of those.
Take credit for it. It's been a long time.
Remember that sermon.
Trust me, the guy on TV got paid.
Mama, you're here. Was it T.D. Jakes?
Oh.
It was probably somebody like it.
That's
was
solid,
like Rod
though.
Parsley. I could find it. It was a great sermon, and I don't even think I was really watching it with her. I think I just overheard it.
That's good. But if everybody takes care of, there it is when you remember the sermon, not the name of the preacher. No, that's
right.
That's a sermon right there.
Well, I was a kid. I was little, and I just overheard it, and I don't know why it stuck with me, but it always has.
And the truth is so strong. Just take care of what's right in front of you, what the Lord has in front of you.
But to me, that's the story of a ministry. Like that's what we have at Lake Point. That's what any local church should and usually does have. Is people coming together to do one little thing that they can do, and that's really all they do.
Yep.
You know, you have the people serving communion. That's their contribution, but you can't have church without that.
That's it. Parking lot,
you can't have church without the worship.
All those
you can't
children's
have church
ministry,
without somebody
mercy.
parking, especially drive-in service. Everybody has to be parked.
All those things come in. Have you ever noticed that? And how crazy is this? Now, hear me. Y'all might be like, what are we paying you guys to do? But like sometimes I just show up and preach. That's all I do all Sunday. I just preach, and to me it's like a gift. I love to do that. Like me and Rob again always say like, I feel like that's kind of what I get to do for free every week. That's just the fun part. Like I love doing that. That's what I love. But everything else in church. You're absolutely right. In our day-to-day lives, that's so true.
But, I mean, that's really the whole chapter. But it really is neat to think about how he sat down and wrote, I guess maybe in his journal, about each little piece. And all these people have now their names in the Bible.
That's good. Y'all, that'll change stuff. I did that with Celebrate Recovery with Eddie and Yvonne. Great leadership. Ellie, you're knocking out of the park. Eddie and Yvonne, in one of those first meetings, the study groups, step groups that Eddie was explaining to me, he said, just write down all the people. One, this was hard. He said, write down all the people who have hurt you, but also all the people who have blessed you. You know, like that idea. Sometimes, y'all, if you start listing those, my prayer for all of us is that those who have blessed us is much longer of a list than those who have hurt us. But there's something to this. Like if you go back and I think there's power in penmanship, like pinning it to paper, but actually write out the names of some of the people who have poured into you. Like he did here, because you're right, he easily could have gone, ooh, that was crazy.
If I were going to give homework for tonight's lesson, that would be the homework.
That would
go sit down with your journal and your prayer journal and just make a list of names.
Just make a list.
A note of how they've influenced you or what they've done for you.
It's good.
It would be a sweet list to have.
That'd be a very sweet list.
And I really do wish we had written down things. All of our Lake Point friends, like, who was it? Well, I know it was Denver who had to get the cat out of the wall.
That was good. Meow.
We have some good memories of all the things that people have done that are very random. But if I were writing a book of the Old Testament, they would make it in there for certain. Right. And it would be as random as that perfume maker.
Like, what's a perfume
Denver
maker?
Climbed down in the wall of the Variety Works and saved the stray cat that tried to outpreach Daniel.
That's right. And that cat won.
No.
9 lives my foot.
He didn't win that day. He was not a winner.
That's good stuff, y'all. Shane, that's good. That was a good lesson.
It was not. It was probably TD Jakes. Mama will probably, if she doesn't find it during the live stream, she'll find it.
As you read through those and think about that, because we'll all have a list. You know, we'll all have a list of people who have influenced us over our lives.
And sometimes you don't think you're doing anything very big, but you really are.
Yeah.
These people were just building a piece of a gate. And that was literally their whole contribution.
Yep.
But it is how the entire
Because you imagine, like we said before, I mean, different argument for a different day, holds the earth. Let's just say like Scripture here, I mean, we got what, 6,000-7,000 years, maybe 5,000-7,000 years, somewhere in that range. That's a lot of names. That's a lot of people over that period of time, and only a few thousand are actually mentioned. You know, like we know no one else's names from 400 years ago. Very few people's names, and these people's names
to not be a king or
are in the most
have your name
sold
written.
Book of all.
Yeah, it's really a cool thing.
That's amazing.
So good job, Nehemiah. Way to record all these
played,
very mundane facts.
What would his Nehi? That would be his nickname, probably. Nehi.
Sure. If you
what was that drink?
It's really random.
The drink. Nehi soda?
I'm not with you.
No, it's like Cracker Barrel.
What kind of soda is it?
It's like an old school soda, made with real sugar.
Like cheer wine?
No.
I don't know.
Cheer wine, Johnny.
Stewart's root beer. I got nothing.
I'll think of it
I
later.
don't know.
Nehi, ni hao. That's hello in Chinese.
I'm not with you. It's just like Coke. It's like Coke.
I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I want to rant. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
That was a random.
That was a random comment.
Random.
Sorry, guys.
That was a random chain of thoughts.
Random chain of thoughts. Oh wow, Christy wrote a long one.
That's sweet.
I didn't read it. You two are going to be. Oh my mercy.
Yep, knee high. Is that it?
Thanks, Archie. For real, right? It's like knee high. It's like orange and grape and.
Now you're telling me what it is. You just said
I told you what it was.
I don't know.
Nerd.
Cola, I guess. Cola and orange and grape are not. Stop! No! Stop! This is a good cup of coffee. Do not ruin it. People know.
People
grape
know.
And orange.
Grape
orange,
peach.
Grape peach.
Knee-high grape. Thanks, Kev. Look at this. This is happening. We need to have a knee-high party. It's named after Nehemiah. What we didn't know is that knee-high soda
it's not
was
named after him.
After Nehemiah in the rebuilding of America
if I had to give
during
him
the
a
Great
nickname,
Depression.
it would not have been knee-high.
Great Depression.
Yeah.
FDR came up with it. It was along with the act that built the TSA. Or not the TSA. That's a different story. The land grant where they built power plants and stuff like that.
You're making it up.
Google it. If somebody
You're saying
Googles this,
the drink was made for that?
the drink was established by a Methodist preacher from Charleston, South Carolina, during the Great Depression. He said, we have got to
That's
rebuild
Dr. Pepper.
America. He actually said, make America great again. That's what I heard.
Do you see what I live with? He could be making this entire thing up, or it could be real.
It was coined. He said Nehemiah soda is too long. Nehi soda is shorter. We're going to create this. We're going to pump it out. Get America going again.
Seriously?
Lo and behold, World War II, Pearl Harbor, bam. I made all that up. I have no idea.
You're
That sounds.
such a liar.
I have no idea where Nehi soda came from. It's probably Chinese. Probably owned by the Chinese. Gracious me.
Y'all were Googling it. Don't lie.
Keep
I
Googling
would
it.
have
See
been
what
Googling
Nehi.
it.
Somebody's going to Google it right now. Figure out where it came from.
So Nehi has nothing to do with anything you just said.
I mean, it
It's a
could.
total
Nehemiah.
lie.
Well, Nehemiah's not even Nehi.
It's not.
It's not even spelled the same. That was awkward.
That was a lot of random.
I can make stuff up
a
on the
very
spot.
random.
I can write a 5-page paper about anything.
Yes, you can.
I live with that too,
And
Shantae.
you'll make an
And
A.
Susie means you are blessed and highly favored. Yes, you are. I'm a talker.
All of that came from a nickname that doesn't even match.
I know. Now that I read it, it's Nehi. That doesn't have the same effect. I have nothing that comes to mind when I think
I
of Nehi.
can't help you. Well, please. I think the knee-high attachment was enough.
Is that enough?
I think the soda and the
World War II.
FDR, World War II, Pearl Harbor connection
We
was enough.
we
That
went
was
way back.
plenty.
Way back. All right, everybody. So now we're closing on a happy note. I hope I see everyone here tomorrow evening. We'll do Nehi 3, 4.
We
We'll do
just did
3 and
3.
4. Let's do 4 and 5. We're going to have to split this one up for a couple weeks. It'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think that'll work.
And
I was reading
He
the
stops the
heading.
impression of 4 and 5, so it's getting for real.
Sounds good.
But anyway, we'll be checking out 4 and 5 tomorrow night. Get your Bibles. Check us out there. We will see everybody here tomorrow
We'll be here
night.
tomorrow.
7 o'clock-ish. Holla back.
Bye. It's not gonna. It's not gonna work. Stop. There's abuse. Stop it.
It's not working.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, stop. Stop it.